Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Nick. If you're new to the channel, thanks for joining. I appreciate your time. And if you're not new, I appreciate you watching this video. So, this is a very special video. Someone asked me to do a video on kind of my origin story and how I originally got into Kratom, and then all the way through what the initial effects of the withdrawal were, what that looks like. And I think that's basically what I'm going to talk about today. So I wrote some stuff down, so bear with me here. How I originally got into Kratom in the first place is that I heard about it on Joe Rogan, believe it or not. And so I was naturally curious. And I used to travel for work a lot because I'm in sales. If you've ever watched one of my other videos, you know that by now. But I used to, because I'm originally from Indiana, and it was illegal. It's illegal there. I think it still is. I'm not in Indiana anymore, but so I used to travel for work and go to states where it was legal, and I used to take it because it used to help with energy, or so I thought. I mean, it did, because I wasn't taking it regularly. So during the time that I would take it on week trips for work, it would be helpful. For work, I ended up moving out to Washington State, where it was legal, and that's when it all went downhill for me, because I started taking it in a lot, and it ramped up pretty quick, every day, really. It didn't start that way. When you first start taking it, it's not like, it's yeah, it takes a while to get ramped up to it. So, like, you're going to take a small dose. I don't know how much I took. I remember the very first time that I took it in Washington State. It was at night, and I don't know, it was like on the weekend, and I wasn't doing anything. I was going to play some Mass Effect video game. I don't know if you guys know Mass Effect, but it's a video game. Sci-fi. It's very fun. And so, bought some earlier that day, and I think I took like 5 grams, which is a lot for someone that hasn't taken it. It's a large dose. And I went numb, basically. I remember like feeling like this should not. It didn't last very long, the numbness, but it was completely numb. It was like the first time you smoke a cigarette, right, is you get that really great buzz. That's how it was with Kratom too, just in a different way. So what happened is, when I was in Washington State, I ramped up the use, and this in particularly happened. I was in Washington State 2019, and then when the pandemic hit in 2020, so like a year after I started using it, I ramped it up after the pandemic became a thing, because I had nothing better to do. It's probably similar to a lot of people's stories, you know. Pandemic really messed a lot of people up, and so I took more of it during that time, and then I really just had no break on trying to cut back or not using so much anymore, because it was already part of what I was doing. How I came to realize that there was a problem was, it was, when I've said this before, but it was after I moved to Texas. I was like, my parents came to visit me, and they were here, and I ran out of Kratom, and so they like went back to their hotel, and I didn't run out. I didn't take it one day because I thought it wouldn't be a big deal, and I realized that I was having withdrawal. Like, I was shaking in the car. I I was in a very bad mood, very snappy, you know. Um, and I couldn't deal with myself that way with my parents. I was like, what is going on? I finally realized, like, this is not normal. Like, I'm normally pretty snappy, but this is something more than that. And I realized I didn't take Kratom that day. And then I was like, whoa, this is bad. And so I went and got some Kratom. And I was also having cravings. That's also how it came to my attention, that it is the Kratom that's doing that to me. So I had to run out after they went back to their hotel and get some. And then I took a dose and I was better. It's crazy. And so on my phone here, I wrote down, it was in my notes on my iPhone that I wrote down when I was still using Kratom. It was actually a note to my best friend, but I'm not sure how this is going to read, but I am going to read it during this video, and I think it gives context into everything that I just said, and maybe it'll help you kind of conceptualize what was happening with me when I was still taking Kratom or just getting off Kratom. I can't remember exactly when I wrote this, but I say, the anger and mental instability and silence on COD, so Call of Duty, and stress comes from Kratom. I realized this after I decided to not take it one day recently, actually when my parents were visiting me, and I had bad withdrawals from the drug, so I researched it and found out how bad it really is. It also makes you want to isolate, which is also why I sometimes don't feel like talking on Call of Duty. I've been taking that since I moved to Washington State a little over 2 years ago. The reason why is because I thought since it was legal, it was okay, and the effects are like coffee and it gives you better focused mental clarity. So taking that finally caught up to me. I've read many stories now about people who had all the same negative effects on. I've also quit nicotine, and I was also interviewing at a shit ton of companies basically since I've been in Texas. This is where my time has been spent. And when I first got to Texas, I was getting onboarded to my new company. Battling nicotine and Kratom withdrawals is also a struggle and takes my time, all while trying to be productive at work. It's stressful. I'm getting clean from Kratom, and I'm already a while clean from nicotine. I'm going to stay that way too. I've always had a problem with substance abuse. I can't consume anything anymore. That's also why I want to stop playing COD during the week. Playing video games releases dopamine. I have a dopamine problem. I need to detox. Kratom definitely has made me angrier, easily irritated, more stressed out, emotional, and want to be more isolated. Stopping the use now, though, and didn't realize how it was affecting me until I read deeply about it recently. Started tapering Kratom in November in 2021. I was onboarding for a new company, and during that time it was panic attacks, anxiety, anger, fear, confusion, and it was really like a psychedelic experience. That's what I remember from the initial stages of tapering Kratom in November 2021. And then I didn't quit cold turkey until January of 2022. So, what is it now? It's, the end of January is when I quit cold turkey. So, March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 months, over 6 months. Actually, it should be about 6 months now because it's the end of August. So, if I quit at the end of January, then it's actually like 7 months. So about 7 months now. That's my story. I don't know if I read that very well. I'm also kind of cold today. I don't really feel that well today. I've had a long week, a lot of stress. I had freaking like 4 interviews this week because of the promotion situation. I did end up getting extended an offer to be promoted. So that's good, but at the same time, the interviews didn't go very well, so I kind of feel confused, and I just feel sad. I'm also sad that I'm moving on from the team that I'm on now. It's just there's a lot of changes going on. So, sorry to get off topic. What I was saying is that when I was onboarding for the new company, when I was tapering Kratom in November 2021, I think maybe some of the withdrawal. Well, I can't say that because I was a while clean from nicotine at that point. I quit nicotine when I left my other job and was waiting to start at the new job. So it must have been like September sometime. I can't remember the exact date. I think that's when it was. So could there have been some nicotine withdrawals mixed in with the taper on Kratom? Sure, but I remember like being sure that I was okay from nicotine before I started the Kratom withdrawal too. And so it was rough. Tapering was the worst part. I remember it. And I was starting a new position, and I mean, I made videos on this. Like, you can go back and watch it. But I, well, actually, I didn't make videos on the tapering part of the Kratom withdrawal. I only made videos when I quit cold turkey. The tapering was the worst. It was the absolute worst. I was literally, I thought like the hiring manager who hired me for the position was not, just so awkward. It was weird because the confusion, I think, was the worst part, as well as I didn't have very clear mind. I had headaches. I felt sick. It was really rough, now that I recall correctly. I kind of, when I think about when I quit Kratom, I typically think about when I quit cold turkey, but the taper it was hell. And so I kind of wish I would have made videos when I was tapering, but hopefully this video is helpful, and let me know your thoughts. Put them in the comments, and I'll try to make a better video on kind of my feelings. But this video is already long enough, so I'm gonna cut this video out, and I can make another video sometime about kind of what exactly just digging in a little bit more on the feelings that I was feeling when I first started to taper the Kratom. So, and the process, because I did have a strategy behind it, and I can tell you that part now. So like, I was tapering, and every night, instead of, well, I was starting in a new company, right? So I had a lot of work to do, and every night I would take coffee. I would drink coffee instead of the amount of Kratom that I normally would. Like that, I had to switch my schedule around, so like I had something to do instead of taking the normal amount of Kratom at the normal times. Like you have to kind of have a strategy about how you go about tapering, or it's just harder if you don't. So I'll do another video on it, because I'm not being very clear right now, and so it's just a bunch of thoughts, and I gotta write those thoughts out and think about them. It's been a while too, as you can imagine, guys. So appreciate you watching. Thanks for joining on this video, and I hope you come back for the next one. Thanks for your time.